A lot of people want to fight terrorism, right? I want to win. How are we going to prevent that next generation of terrorists from emerging? Knowing that, military action overseas, law enforcement action are important, but we need to be preventative. So when my little girl, who's 1 year old right now, when she's my age, she's not worrying about Al-Qaeda. Having spent just a few semesters at school, I've recognized that yes, that Plan 2 program is fantastic and it is great. It's one of the best things out there. And for the money, I don't think anything comes close. But the broader university is such a force of good in the society, particularly in Texas, but all over the world. We have this saying, what happens here changes the world, and that's really true. So the Department of Justice started an initiative called the Initiative to Combat Post 9/11 Discriminatory Backlash. And I had no ties. I was a young lawyer in Houston, and I saw a link, an advertisement for the job, and it said you need to have some litigation skills, some language ability, and willing to engage ethnic and religious communities. So I figured I can do that. So I just sent in my application. Well, sure enough, the guy that actually was looking to hire for that position just happened to have been a UT grad for undergrad law school too. So he asked me, hey, look, we're interviewing a slew of candidates. Are you interested? And I said, absolutely. So got the job, joined DOJ, and did that for about a couple of years. And that was pretty easy work because unless you're a bigot, you know that discrimination is wrong. So did that for a couple of years. And then was asked to help start up the Department of Homeland Security's Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. And the idea there was that we weren't looking outside the government, but sort of inside the department about what are we doing that impacts civil rights and civil liberties. And the idea is that, look, we obviously have a terrorist threat. Obviously, we've seen it since 9/11 and since then, but we also have a Bill of Rights and a Constitution. So what can we do to tackle those issues that are at the intersection of security and liberty? And that was a fascinating job. Did that for about 3.5 years. And gradually did more and more, still was doing civil rights and legal policy, but became more and more interested and was actually doing more and more national security type work. The idea being that if we protect people's civil rights, if we integrate immigrants, if we treat people with respect, then we can prevent that same type of alienation that you see in other parts of the world that can sort of give that sort of opening for a terrorist recruiter to come in and start whispering and saying, hey, look, you're not part of the society. You'll never be part of this country. So that's something that's how I found sort of the nexus between civil rights and national security, something that I just think exists. Being a University of Texas alum means is that you're part of a community, a network. So I still reach out to professors to talk to them about an issue here and there. I still the friendships I established here. I have in my circle, I've got partners at major law firms, a professor at Ivy League institutions, some people who really, frankly, I'm very humbled to see everything they've been able to accomplish, and that's something we continue to exchange ideas, bounce things off of each other. So it's not just a motto; those words are true. What happens at Texas really does change the world.